everybody, this is TCG Productions here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to properly migrate an SSD from one computer to another. Now, right here I'm using Debian Testing. It's not the most up-to-date version there is, but it's fairly reasonably up-to-date within about the past month or so. So let's begin. First, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to sign out of all of your Google accounts that happen to be on the computer, signed into on the computer. This is because when you move the SSD, the hardware ID that is generated will not match. And if you are signed into your Google account, whenever you do this, Google will force you to change your password on every affected account. So we'll start by going to accounts.google.com and go ahead and verify that it's me. Oh, it's asking for a verification code on the device I haven't touched. I don't know. Let's see. Let's pick something. Yep, that's me. That'll obviously be blurred. Oh, hey, let me in. Cool. So once you get into your Google Accounts Manager, what you'll do is you'll come up over here to the right, and you'll go ahead and click your profile picture, and you'll come right down here and hit that sign out button, and then you'll go ahead and click remove an account, and you will remove every account that is shown here. So this will purge the account and all of its cookies and everything off of the computer. Now, of course, you're going to be signed out of everything Google as a result of this. And it's also a really good idea right here to go ahead and kill all of your active Discord and Steam sessions. Now, of course, this actually assumes that the laptop works. If for whatever reason your laptop does not work, you're going to need to sign into your Google Accounts Manager on another system, and you will actually have to head into sign in and security, head to your devices section, find your broken laptop, and forcibly sign it out of everything. This will kill the login tokens and basically do the same thing here. It'll invalidate all of your sessions. For Discord, you'll have to do it. You'll have to do this through the mobile app, and with Steam, you'll have to use the Steam mobile app. In the Steam Guard section, you can view your devices and sign out any sessions that happen to be on your broken laptop. So now that we've covered that, what we'll do is we will shut the computer down. Well, actually, I just remembered. The next thing we will have to do is we'll need to rip out any vendor-specific graphics drivers. So let me see. Actually, we're not going to do that. But if you're, say, going from NVIDIA to AMD or AMD to NVIDIA, you're definitely going to want to go ahead and rip out any vendor-specific graphics drivers by uninstalling their respective packages from the computer. Or you can just go ahead, bite the bullet, switch it over, and deal with the fallout after you get the SSD transplanted into the target laptop. So now that we've gone ahead and shut it down, the next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and remove any and all sources of power from the system. In which case we'll be disconnecting the power adapter, and then we'll be ejecting the battery. And then the next thing we'll do is we will uninstall the SSD from the system. Now, in some systems it's an SSD, other systems it's a hard drive. It really just kind of depends. So, but this laptop here is designed such that 4 screws release a caddy, basically a carrier that has the SSD in it. So, four screws, and out it comes. So, Here is the SSD, and there is a single screw on that side that we will have to undo, and that will release the caddy, well, the carrier basically. For this particular laptop, it lifts up and pulls away. So now you want to save all these screws in case you ever put another storage device back in here. In fact, I would strongly recommend finding a dummy storage device and going ahead and putting it in there for now, because this has no way of holding itself within the laptop if there is no storage device attached to it. So for now, I'll just go ahead and put this out of the way. And then this, we'll go ahead and get our target laptop. This particular laptop came in for service because Windows was not acting right, and I diagnosed it to be a failing Seagate hard drive. It's a newer Seagate hard drive. They call it a Seagate Mobile hard drive, but what it really is, it's a Seagate Momentus with a different name slapped on it. It's the same terrible, crappy hard drive, just has a little bit of a different name. You know, just kind of like washing their hands of the whole thing. But anyways, there's 12 screws that hold the bottom onto this laptop. And once we get into the laptop, we'll be disconnecting the battery. It's just a single connector. And then there's 3 screws and the SATA connector that holds the hard drive carrier. Then it's 4 screws to separate the hard drive and the carrier. And installation is a reverse of removal. So these 4 at the front here are particularly annoying. Now this here is a Dell Inspiron something or another laptop. It's like a 17-inch display, 2-in-1. But I never finished explaining how this particular situation came to be. The laptop came in because Windows wasn't acting right, and I diagnosed it to a failing hard drive, and the particular person who brought it in, their family ended up in a couple of unfortunate circumstances, and the laptop unfortunately slipped through the theoretical cracks and was basically forgotten about. I messaged the person last night, and they said they do not want it repaired and they do not want it back. So, and of course my old main laptop, the one I just took the SSD out of, is showing its age quite badly. So, and now that we have the laptop exposed, the battery connector is right here, and there's a tab on the back, and basically you just pull this. There's a tab on the back right here, and you just pull this straight out, and it disconnects the battery from the laptop. So now if we move on, focus went to pieces there for a moment. So over here, there's a screw here, there's a screw down here, and then there's a screw right here, and that holds the hard drive carrier into place. That comes out. Unplug the serial ATA connector. It's just a friction fit thing. And then getting the hard drive out of the carrier is a pretty simple matter. There's 4 screws. So undo these, and then we can dismount the drive from the carrier, mount the SSD in, and get this thing put back together and fired up. I'm not completely sure what to expect from it whenever Linux does boot up. I'll probably be turning the touchscreen off first thing straight away. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but it's basically it's a Dell Inspiron 17-inch 2-in-1 laptop. The whole display assembly can fold over 180 degrees as if the computer were a tablet. So hard drive just lifts out of the carrier. Set that aside, and then we put the SSD back into the carrier with the serial ATA connections on the end here facing, so that way they can be plugged in when it is upside down. And then, as I say, installation is a reversive removal. And I'll tell you what, this laptop is a whole lot more serviceable than some others I've worked on, where replacing the hard drive, where they have the hard drive on the opposite side of the motherboard, so you have to do a complete teardown to pull the drive out of the system. Now, most cheapy modern Walmart laptops are exactly that way, assuming they have a hard drive and not just permanently soldered eMMC storage, and that is embedded multimedia card. Now, an embedded multimedia card is just really a multimedia card, and those are really, really slow. So, of course, RAM is starting to be soldered on quite a few of them, so they're not really serviceable. They're disposable throwaway laptops. So anyways, now that we have the SSD mounted in, go ahead and plug it in, drop the carrier back into its place, and then it's 3 screws to re-secure the carrier. And once that's back in, go ahead and plug in the battery connector. Now, this laptop will probably turn itself on whenever I do this. So, yeah, and your laptop might do that as well whenever you plug the battery connector in. It will probably turn itself on. So I'll go ahead, push that in, and there it goes. So I'll just hold the power button. On this laptop, it's on the side over here until it turns off. Well, I may not have gotten the hint. These Dell BIOSes do really, really weird things. Yeah, these Dell BIOSes get up to doing some really, really weird things when the CMOS battery has gone dead, and that's one of them. So we'll get to witness a bit of that firsthand. But for now, I'm not going to screw the cover back down. So what I am going to do instead is turn the laptop over, open the display, and hit the power button. And it's doing its little power cycly bit. And it will probably complain about it having lost its CMOS settings. Okay, there we go. You know when it's actually about to start it because the keyboard lights come on, but the fan isn't. Yep, it's complaining. Time of day not set. Please run setup program. Whoa, that mouse is killing fast. So I'll go ahead, set the options up. I say I'll set the options up. Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and get my options set up and we'll come back once I've gotten that done. Alright, I've got my options set up. Let's go ahead and kick out of setup and see what happens. And laptop powers down, powers up. Alright, there's Debian Linux wanting to start up. It's going to prompt me for my password. There, I got it on the first try. Isn't that nice? Wow, it actually came up immediately. Obviously the focus isn't quite all there. Here is the exposure. The exposure's kind of gone a bit batty. And there we go. So we're getting prompted to connect to a wireless network, so go ahead and do that. Alright, wants a password. Okay, looks like we're all here. So let's open up the web browser and run a quick internet speed test. I prefer speedtest.net over OpenSpeedTest. OpenSpeedTest has kind of been giving me some false results above about the 500 megabit mark or so. Oh, already got the touchscreen turned off. Okay. Mouse and touchpad. VLAN touchscreen. Ah, I see. Pretty likely. To be quite honest with you, since you're asking. Let's see. I'm just going to see how well this reacts to me turning the display over.